Here we are. It's episode 124.
The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at. With your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah. The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Let's go.
Hello, friends of the deck world. Episode 124. Wade, Shane, Bryce.
Woo, 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 woo.
We need to all in favor of buying a new podcast intro.
Aye.
Okay, so it's done. Bryce,
After I did all that work today on the outro.
now that what is this? What did you just? Oh, for the love of God!
I'm sorry.
We need to add, now that Bryce is part of the team formally. We need to get him into the intro, and we changed our website name, so now we have to fix that on the outro.
Yeah, Shane's like, let's change the website name. It's going to make everything so much easier.
Yeah.
Except all of the things we have to change.
All the places that the old one was. That's okay.
On our trucks.
The letterhead.
We have to get our trucks redone.
All of it.
It's,
you know what? Short-term pain for long-term gain. You know that, Bryce. That's what you live by at the gym, right? Short-term pain, long-term gain.
Do I look like I go to the gym?
The door's too heavy. I can't open it.
None of us are so motivated, so we brought the gym to us, and nobody still uses it.
That's
we
right.
Put a gym in here.
Bowflex.
I don't think that we did that on purpose. That was Fraser needed that out of his garage.
Correct. I thought I would use it.
So he was like,
someday I will. He uses it though. Fraser uses
occasionally.
it. Here,
we
here
should
and
just
there.
tape. We should just tape weights to the ping pong paddles.
I mean, yeah, that I would use that for sure.
Yep.
So, but that corner is getting marginally more use than it was before when it was empty and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
It's just better at collecting dust now.
Yeah.
It's harder to clean now. You gotta go around things. Anyway, congratulations to Simcoe Decks, who on our little what do you call this tool? This little podcast management live streaming thing. You are considered our most engaged guest in here right now.
Most engaged.
Good for you. You commented once, and that was all it took.
That's all it took.
So
10.
What's going on this week, boys? What you been doing? What you been up to?
What have we been up to?
We're getting locked down again.
Yeah,
in
we're
Regina.
in Regina.
Yeah.
Big lockdowns.
A lot of COVID happening.
All the vid. All the variants of vid.
All the vid. We got all vid-19 here.
Yeah, exactly.
Brutal.
All of vid.
Variants is the theme of the week in the news this week, hey? We just
I think we account for what,
half the province's worth of COVID cases?
Over half.
We're 80% of the province's COVID cases.
Is it 80?
That's what I heard. I didn't look.
And it's all variants. Because we're so international here, I think that's why, right? We got a little bit of South Africa, a little bit of Brazil.
That's right.
A little bit of the
everybody.
UK.
Melting pot.
We're a melting pot.
Except they closed their airport.
The multiculturalism here is phenomenal.
Doesn't matter.
Closed their airport.
Now we've got a look at this. Look at the Instagram live here. We've got a competition now with people trying to win the top most engaged spot on here.
Comment
Mike Reasons is
war.
on there now. It's down to Simcoe Decks and Mike Reasons. Here we go. And the race is on in here.
Okay,
Comes right in the
settle
back
down.
stretch. But for real though, Wade, what do you do?
What do you do, Wade? What do you do around here?
What's your
paid some bills.
what's your role around here?
I paid some bills today. I cleared off the credit cards. I did a few estimates.
It's been busy around
Called
here.
some customers. I don't know. Yesterday felt like it was just straight banana land in here. It was super busy yesterday.
It's been pretty heavy in here lately, yeah.
So,
Is Mike? Is he single?
nope. I don't think so.
Do you think he's engaged right now? Like, is he laughing at the "I'm most engaged"? Because I hope that's because he's been engaged for 4 years and one of those guys that won't just take the next step.
I don't know that.
He's the most engaged. Yeah, it's been wildly busy.
Super busy.
Like it feels like May in here right now.
Yep.
And it's March. And so maybe March is a busy month in Phoenix, but it's not usually a busy month in Regina and Saskatoon.
Yep.
It's usually still a lot of snow on the ground. It's just the weather's been beautiful. The lumber prices are all over the map right now, so people are trying to beat the increase, and it's caused a bit of a frenzy.
Yep.
So not complaining, because it's nice to finally have some cash flow this early in the season. So not complaining, but it definitely caught us off guard a little bit.
Hence the paying the credit card thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so watch this. See, Mike Reasons says in the chat, he's like, you win, Simcoe. You've had your own episode.
Yeah.
Now, wait for it. 3, 2. Simcoe's about to tell him he's been on 2 episodes. Because I just saw, this is funny. I saw a post the other day, I think it was on a Facebook group, and some guy was like, replied to Simcoe and was like, great job on the podcast. It was really great.
Which one?
And Mike's like, oh, which one? And it's like, the other one was a year and a half ago. Which one do you think? The guy's like, well, sorry, I haven't had a chance to scroll back through them all. So probably the one from just this week.
There's 124 of them.
Yeah. So anyways, what about you, Bryce, before we get on to it? What do you got? Like, what do you do?
What do I do?
Here and at home this week.
I sit here and get IT questions all week.
Right.
That used to be Shane.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yeah. Now I'm the firewall between the sales guys and Shane.
See? And that's why you're the IT guy,
That's why.
because you use words like firewall. That means you are the IT guy.
That's right.
All the construction guys are like, what? You're like, you're 2 layers of 5/8 drywall? You're, what is it? Firewall?
So, anyways, it's been a hairy week. It's been good. The season's fully kicked off for us, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It feels good to be back into it.
Our Saskatoon manager quit.
Saskatoon manager was moving on, sideways or down, moving on, sideways or down.
Move north.
He's moving out of town.
He's not moving up.
He's moving from
This is
beautiful
his,
Saskatoon.
Like, geographically, he's moving up.
Geographically.
But like his work environment for sure is sideways or down.
I don't know where he's going, but he's moving out of town to a small town. So that'll be a change of pace. But good for him.
Yep.
He's got some things going on in his life, which are good. So
I
Great.
actually got moment of uselessness today.
Get after it.
Oh, good. Well,
So you
let's do that then.
let's do that. You guys ready?
Mike's been engaged for a year, he says. So he is the most engaged.
Funny.
Okay, so today I have 7 very funny news headlines that were actual news headlines.
I'll decide if they're funny.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's awfully
Okay, well,
brazen of you.
you
Like,
guys ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Number 1, World Bank says poor needs more money. Did I get you?
yeah, that was pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
Obvious, super obvious.
Okay. Homeless survive winter. Now what?
Ah, shit. Hey, they're still here.
So that's number 6.
No, hold on though. There's
Okay.
there's more funniness to this that you haven't said out loud. It's from Sacramento.
Yes, from Sacramento. Possibly
Oh
not
my,
the coldest
they made it
place.
through 70-degree evenings. Like,
We should send them our homeless people.
right? Toughen them up a bit. Our homeless people have like inch thick layers of skin.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
How
gritty.
How else do you?
Like, these guys are like, oh, I had a really rough night last night.
Now what?
Slurpee machine broke. Now what? Yeah, like, what do you do with?
What do you do with them?
Yeah, that's funny.
Okay, here we go. Number 5. State population to double by 2040. Babies to blame.
Babies are the worst.
Babies are the worst.
I don't think babies are what's doubling the population.
Yeah. Could be a little bit of immigration.
I think this one is also from Sacramento.
This article.
Yeah.
The babies?
Yeah, the baby one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good article right there. Is this? Can our people see these? Probably not.
Yeah,
eh?
they can. Yeah.
Oh, they can.
Yeah, they can.
So where's this from? SPL latest something news, whatever.
Clydesdale.
And the headline is by Scott McDermott.
Good old Scotty.
Somebody did a keyboard smash on that one. Eh?
This is number 4.
Good.
Number 3.
That's pretty funny that made it out.
A nuclear explosion would be a disaster.
You gotta. We can't see this. It says a nuclear
Oh,
explosion
you can't
would
see
be.
this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
A disaster.
Would be a disaster. It would not be a Chernobyl-style explosion.
That was from 2006.
Most understated.
We hate math, says 4 in 10. A majority of Americans.
People in this country have a love-hate relationship with math. Good.
Okay.
That's not surprising.
And
Alan.
number 1, China may be using sea to hide its submarines.
That's funny too. Yeah, those are pretty good, Bryce.
So there you go. That was
Where else would you hide? You know where the best place to hide a submarine would be? The desert.
Could you hide?
Not a single person would look for it.
You want to find somebody's hidden submarines, you're not looking there.
That's right.
You'd look in the water.
They're also not.
Real sneaky.
That's where you would start.
That's where you would start.
You would
The
start
first place
looking in
you
the
would
water.
start would be the water.
You would think, yeah. But
But-
tell that to Pearl Harbor.
Right, exactly.
Like they just came the way that they go. They just showed up.
Are submarines useful
in the water.
in the desert?
Yep.
How do you fire a torpedo?
With the button. You just you push a button.
Lands in front.
And it just like drips out the end of the chute into a small cloud of dust.
Well, that's the moment of uselessness.
Propeller on the back, spinning away.
A true moment.
Just creating a windstorm. Okay, this episode brought to you by tuds.ca/podshop. I felt the need to say it because it's right there on the screen. You can get your
practicing.
the Ultimate Deck Podcast gear. We've had some sales go through that thing. There's going to be some people repping. Two last night alone, eh?
But then I thought maybe it was Pat and Matt. I thought
and
they were yard guys that ordered them.
Yeah, who knows? John Dangerstein is third most engaged, and Eric Teru.
Because I lit up Matt the other day. I walked in the back and he's wearing some red hoodie. I was like, is it just that your Ultimate Deck Shop hoodie isn't here yet? He was like, I haven't ordered them.
He probably missed out on his 15%.
Yeah.
That ended yesterday.
See?
So, depends.
Yep.
I didn't really, we told the guys there was a photographer coming in yesterday at 11 o'clock. We told everybody, be ready for photographer day. And Matt shows up in a American Eagle hoodie, whatever the hell it was. Nailed it.
Yeah. I got my fancy new yellow.
You are bright. You're a hard to miss now. Bright Bryce, we call you.
That's my new name.
My reason's different than Fraser's reason for calling you Bright Bryce.
Fraser has a little bit of an issue.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is it time to get on with it?
Here we go.
Yep.
Okay. How do we get these things back? I want to know what these things say. Okay.
Oh, yeah, because we got new ones.
Yeah. Okay. We got to play with the buttons today. The topic today.
Voyeurism. Now you know.
It's amazing we can now make people say things without them actually saying them.
Yeah. So,
Be
voyeurism.
careful.
No, the topic today, like, I feel like we've beat this one up a bit lately, but it's all anybody's talking about. So we'll talk about it some more.
Mm-hmm.
One more time.
That and COVID.
That and COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll not talk about this for a little bit.
Yeah, because next week it'll be April.
Yeah. Story gets bad next week. What we're talking about today is the theming topic of lumber prices and what in the world that all means. And so that's like, there we go. Western Lumber's in here. He's probably in here to try to get the down low. Maybe he doesn't know yet that his prices have gone up.
Did you see
He
got a pallet of like just random things, tapes and adhesives and all kinds of stuff showed up, and he was pumped. He posted a picture the other day and was like, we finally have stuff to put on our shelves. It's like everywhere, all things are like just out. They're just out of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's for us, it's tricky right now because we're selling like mad. Like it's just going off the hook. We've never seen a March like this before. And I didn't plan for the material to be here yet. We've got it all booked. It's all coming, but I didn't ask for it in February because I didn't want to pay for it in March. So it's all coming end of March, early April, but like our sales are massive right now. And,
Pre-sold.
Pre-sold
like,
lumber.
Shoot, we'll deliver it to you when we get it, I guess.
Yep.
But no bigger topic right now than what's happening with lumber. So, we saw this start to happen last year. The increases were coming fast and furious last year, starting in the middle of the year. They climbed and climbed and climbed and then kind of flattened out at the end of the year. Like end of fall, winter, flattened out. There was a lot of people that speculated and this wasn't people in the industry, this was homeowners, were wishful thinking that these prices would drop off and correct in the spring. And so there was a lot of people that waited, thinking like, I'll wait out these prices and I'll do it in the spring because I don't need my deck this winter anyway. So they waited, and now that's probably who's all here scrambling trying to get it done.
Was that a good idea?
It was not a good idea.
Well, that's not true.
To buy it now, fine idea. We're not saving anything, but
it was a little bit lower right now than it was in the fall of last year.
yeah, very marginally, like 5% maybe.
Oh, okay.
Less than maybe some quotes that we've seen come back from like November-ish or whatever. 2x8's like $1 or $2 less than it was back then. But that's really only here. If you go anywhere else, it's already up massively. That 2x8, same 2x8 is $15 more to buy it at Home Depot right now. And so we've made the decision to hold our prices right now until April 1st and work through some of the material that we had in the ground. But most places have already gone up. We're about to April 1st. We can't hold it any longer than that. And so now it's going from being, 5% down to roughly 30% more on April 1st, or if you're looking at a box store somewhere. So that's a huge increase.
That's a big increase. That's
Overnight.
a lot of money.
And so now we're seeing people scrambling to get their projects bought, paid for, and whatever before this March 31st / April 1st deadline, which is like, it's smart. The material you get in a week from now isn't any different than the stuff you get now. It's just more money.
Yep. Why are the prices going up?
Well,
that's
Brace,
the question.
If you head over to our blog article on tuds.ca. So, I mean, there's a variety of things at play, but let's be honest, it's gone up because it can.
It can.
Somebody's making some money.
Is that it?
The trees.
That's it? Okay.
The trees are making more money.
Good episode.
The long and short of it is supply and demand at the very heart of it. What has caused the shortage? Well, there's a few reasons at play. Obviously, COVID last year, we've talked about this before. COVID last year caused a lot of issues and shutdowns and halting of production of lumber. And that was what started this whole thing.
Right.
And then the surge, because we do have a blog article we talked about before. If you want to go check out the detailed response, check out the blog article on our website. But the long and short of it is supply was severely impacted by COVID shutdowns and complete shutdowns and then partial shutdowns and then blah, 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 blah. And then at the same time, demand for doing renovation projects surged last year at the same time as, so it went both ways. Supply was lessened, demand was increased, created a big gap. And then also once they got going again, it was like, well, you're trying so hard to catch up. There's like overtime and your production's still not high enough to cover the difference. And then I don't know if there's such thing as a bidding war in this, that kind of thing, but it was like not enough to go around. So some people were willing to pay whatever the hell they had to get material. And when you get people into a situation where they'll pay whatever the hell they have to get material, well, somebody somewhere is like, okay, well, I could continue to sell this sheet of OSB at $15 or I could sell it for $28.
Auction it off.
And then
and
went
then it flies
50.
at 28 and then it's like 35 and then it's 43 and then it's 55 and then so there's some of that at play. I also read that they were hitting some quotas on deforestation quotas as well last year because then they had to ramp up supply so much. Then they've got, I don't know what the quotas are, but there's regulations that says you can't chop down and take this many trees out of the forest in a given time period. And they hit that. And then so shut down again. So multiple shutdowns last year. So that all played into it and has resulted in this like severe gap between supply and demand, which has really driven prices north. So
we've heard some like pretty big numbers for the increase of supply or of demand from last year. Like they were saying, like some of the composite deck board brands were saying like 60% increase in demand for projects.
Really?
So we heard yesterday.
So significant increase. Like last year, they were talking about a 30% increase. Kind of like our buying group, which is a Canadian wide, said there was a 30% surge, and so that's quite a bit, especially when demand or supply dropped off at the same time. So the gap is big. It scroll off the screen, but TC Deck says he waited a month for his $25,000 lumber package for his house, and by the time he got it, turned into a $35,000 lumber package. So, Welch 789 says there's no lumber shortage.
So
Sure.
Welch 789, I believe is like our Welch that you know, Jordan. I believe that's who
do you think that's him?
I think that's who you buy your treated lumber from.
Okay.
He is our lumber supplier.
You think that's him?
I do think it's
You think he's being a funny guy then, eh?
He's a pretty funny guy.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think it is because I think he's on Instagram as Jay Welch. I think.
Well, let's look.
John Dangerstein, he's blaming it on the Russians, the Soviet spike, as he calls it. And what is Simcoe saying? So wait, they couldn't keep up with production, but they cut down so much they couldn't cut down anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like Simcoe's been hitting the happy hour.
Welch 789 said, "Yep."
Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, the math on this is that like, so if they were able to cut down as much as demand asked for, and they were allowed to cut down that much, that's fine. But then when demand increases by 30% and you're not allowed to cut down more, then I don't know, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, you can only cut down so much in a year.
And I've only heard that indirectly. I've not heard that from my sources as much as
The rumor mill.
as the other things I've heard from actual sources. So, yeah, it's shortage driven. It's supply and demand driven. But and people are like, well, somebody is screwing somebody. Yeah, probably somebody
It's
somewhere
actually-
is screwing somebody.
Probably
Like,
not somebody. It's probably everybody.
it's not completely innocent. It's not like you can. It's the guys who cut down lumber are charging what they charge because they can.
Yeah.
That's how economics works. It doesn't. It's people are like, oh, how come gas prices spike when oil's way down? Well, because somebody's deciding to make money at some point. Like it's not an elastic type commodity.
No.
People.
yeah,
it has to get
elastics are very
purchased.
stable price point.
Do you want to know what the most stable price point of anything in the world is?
Yes.
Milk.
Cocaine.
Oh yeah.
It hasn't changed in price since 1980.
That's wrong.
Nope,
They
it's
should
true.
change that.
They should change that.
Have they adjusted for inflation?
No, it's actually the same price.
$100 is $100.
Yep.
Oh, that's the best deal going right now.
That's right.
We should buy cocaine.
We should buy lumber. It's worth way more.
It's worth way more.
The resale on lumber in the black market's way
Listen,
bigger.
there's not a single TV show about lumber guys.
yeah.
Oh, could you imagine?
Log
the
building
black
guys, like guys
market
that build houses and stuff. There's those guys, but
Yeah.
like Narcos is a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all
It
based
is.
around selling cocaine.
Yeah. Well, we had some good TV happen this morning. We could have filmed and put that out.
Son of a gun.
TC
Didn't even
Dex.
talk about it.
I wasn't going to. I was just going to leave that little feeler there. TC Dex says problem with shipping as well, right? And so we keep forgetting to mention this too, but like, and this didn't affect just lumber. This was everything. Like freight last year was wild.
Should have had watermelons.
Because it wasn't just lumber that went up. Like shortage in supply last year. It was everything, and everything that's anything has to get moved from one place to another. And so the trucking industry, like they were cashing in because they were shorted. They could drop a load and pick somebody else up for twice the price if they wanted to. Is like who's willing to pay to get this stuff to move. So it spiked too. So there's that. And like I said, there's 10 things that have contributed to this. But speaking of which, have you heard about this? What's happening in the Suez Canal right now?
Yeah, I have.
So
Was it on TikTok?
No.
nope.
I haven't
well,
seen it
probably
then.
is.
Everything's on TikTok. Wait.
Wait, I haven't seen it. I don't know what's going on.
So
I don't read the news because I'm so sick and tired of hearing about the COVID.
Oh, this has nothing to do with
I
COVID.
know, but that's what I was always on every news story.
Mm.
And so now I've completely stopped watching the news. Like totally. I have no source of news.
do you see the irony in what you just did right there? We were talking about something completely different, and you
Brought up
made this
COVID.
about COVID, complaining about the media doing nothing but bringing up COVID all the time.
Like the news.
Like
I was
the
just
news.
trying to be like the
Wade
news.
is the news.
I'm the news now. Shane, lead with your story.
Okay.
Tell the people.
Well, in Estevan today, it's a high of 63. The Suez Canal, I think it is, right?
in Panama.
Yeah. And so there's a boat stuck there.
You know, like that scene from Austin Powers
What?
where he gets like stuck?
Yes?
It's like that.
Somebody did that with a tanker,
with a huge tanker.
a
They
loaded
tried
ship.
to turn it around.
Almost for sure those were the guys that were moving oil from BC over to New Brunswick.
Yeah. It wasn't oil because it's all sea cans, shipping containers on it.
Oh.
But so it tried to turn. Is that how it got stuck?
I believe so.
Why would you turn around in the canal?
I don't know.
Wrong turn.
They were going the wrong way.
I gotta go back.
Yeah.
It's the
Maybe they
next.
Come on,
missed
Wade. Have
something.
you
It's
never
the
taken a
next
wrong turn
canal.
before?
They were like driving down the Pacific and then was like, this one. No. It's the next one.
Oh, this
Forgot my
one.
wallet.
Damn.
Forgot my wallet.
I can make it, guys. I can make it.
So this thing is wedged right now. Like
Yeah.
as we speak, is sideways in the damn canal.
Is that increasing the lumber prices too?
no? But it could increase everything
Shipping
else.
costs.
So yeah, shipping costs are absolutely going through the roof.
High winds cause it says Keel Russell high winds.
Oh, there you go.
So that might be the answer. I haven't looked into it to see why. I just know that it came up on a call I had today with one of my reps from one of my railing manufacturers that does ship stuff, and he's like, I don't think it's going to affect our product, but have you heard about this? And I was like, I did see it, but I haven't looked up to read the whole like what happened. But basically now there is shipping ships so they call them,
Ships.
Shipping ships?
on either
They
side of the
ship.
canal.
Waiting.
Wait. Oh, it's a big backup.
Big backlog of ships just floating out in the sea waiting to get access to the canal because this thing has
So, and on top of that,
scissored itself in the canal.
Messed it all up.
on top of that, for Canada, there's a port strike in Montreal. So, like, so things coming from like Europe over the Atlantic
Yes.
would normally go through Panama if they wanted to avoid the shipping strike
Yeah.
and land in Vancouver. Now they can't do
No
it.
dice. Not
No
allowed
dice.
to.
Boy, it's not good.
It's not good
It's
stuff.
not good.
This is a very not good situation.
I think we should go down and help push.
And China's buying all the containers.
We can't.
And China's buying the containers.
Because if we go down there and then we come back, we can't work for a week or two.
Oh, just the worst.
Oh, dang.
But Bryce wants us to get off the floor pretty much entirely anyways. So
Yeah.
seems like a pretty good
I'm going to lock all the doors.
system.
Yep. So I don't know what the fallout's going to be. That shouldn't affect lumber, but it'll affect other things potentially. How depending how backed up that is, at least supply of things, right?
Shipping is, yeah, that's right. Shipping is certainly driving the cost up of everything.
And that'll be a continued issue through the year. So now, what people are wondering, Chew,
Yes, it is.
it's not Eric Turner's fault.
So Eric's from Montreal area, so he says it's not his fault that the port is on strike.
The port unions.
But it's really funny that you said
I said it.
that they were on strike, and my immediate thought was, it's Eric's fault.
It's Eric's fault.
That's what I thought.
That's right.
Yeah. So what are you supposed to do about lumber prices? I got a funny text today. It was a customer from last fall who's doing a good sized deck. I've helped him from start to the finish. And last year he decided he's going to buy all this decking because we had it on sale at the time at the end of the year. Bought all the decking, but he said, I'm not going to buy my lumber yet. It's too high. I'm going to wait it out and buy it in the spring.
Good call.
And so I was like,
Oh,
okay,
wait.
I just I don't think it's going to go down, but feel free to wait it out and see. So I got to text him today being like, well, that kind of burnt me, I guess. Hey,
but
can I get
yet.
an updated quote? Well, that's the thing. If he gets it done, that's what I said to him. I said, get it in right away. Get your quote into the Saskatchewan store. Pull the trigger really quick because April 1st it goes up a bunch. Right now, you're no worse off than you were last fall, but you're not saving a bunch. But get on it. And so, those that tried to wait it out, if they act fast, they're not going to be any worse off or better off, but they'll be just like even. And if they wait 6 more days, they'll be swearing.
So do you think that like the lumber price even talk is like really spurring all of these people to come in?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, some of it for sure. Like, I think why are we so busy? I think there's a few things at play. One is that. So one, I think, is just the do I call this natural now at this point? The natural like pandemic surge of home renovations.
Surge.
Right?
You heard it here first.
We call
folks.
this the second wave of the renovation industry.
Yeah.
But that's obviously triggered something last year that's continuing into this year. The fact that lumber prices didn't come down and are only looking like they're going up is causing some people that care about that. And I think probably one of the biggest things too is that like it's been beautiful out weather-wise for us in March. Like we had a pretty mild winter overall and an early spring so that certainly is helping too.
Yeah.
But certainly there's a lot of people that are walking in that are saying like, I want to get this done before the end of the month because they've heard our messaging. Right?
Yeah.
Now, what does this mean after April 1st? Well, prices are going up. Does that mean like this is such a gamble with everything?
New
right?
trucks for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. So does that mean like what the odd person inevitably is going to think is like, oh, it's going up again. I'll wait again. Well, how did that work out the first time? Like anybody in the industry right now, and I talked to a lot of them, we talked to a lot of them, nobody's expecting this to come back down.
I've been waiting for gas to go down since high school.
1987.
Yeah. That's the year I was born.
And so will it soften? Will prices come down from what they're going to be in April? Yeah, probably at some point a little tiny bit. But I think that's like maybe a short soften through the winter and then continue. This is years long.
This is the new norm.
This is closer to the norm. Like OSB costs $15 and now it costs $55. Like the new normal might eventually be 45, but it ain't 15.
No. It is?
What? It's not going
Why
back
are you shaking your head?
I was nodding with Shane.
okay.
It was like, I agree. It's
And
right.
people are mad about it. but
$35 to $40 a sheet. That's what it's going to cost.
it's It is frustrating, but to flip the switch on this and say, like, if you were selling your vehicle secondhand and you could sell it for $25,000 today, and maybe that car for some reason before used to sell for 18, but for whatever reason the spike has gone up. Maybe a house is a better analogy. A house, because those do fluctuate. If you could sell your house today for $400,000, and 2 years ago you could have sold it for $250,000, but there's been a surge, are you going to willingly sell it for $250,000 or $350,000? No, you're going to sell for as much as you can get for it.
Well, most people, like, look at most people. When you buy your house, that's usually the price you want to try and get back.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's happened in the market.
It doesn't matter what it used to be. You're going to sell it at market prices, and market prices on lumber are not going back to what they were in 2019. It ain't happening. So it's a risk. Now, we say this all the time too. Like, the good news story is that composite decking, aluminum railing, that stuff hasn't seen the increases that the other stuff has. That's been fairly stable. There maybe have been minor year-over-year increases, but that's normal.
There's lots of plastic bags.
Lots of, and if
Less and less right now.
if they can figure out how to
Everybody's
make
going
this
to
stuff
the-
out of masks,
Yeah,
right?
That's the next step.
then we all win. But at the end of the day, if you're building a composite deck with aluminum railing, if your deck's $10,000 worth of materials, only $1,500 of that is lumber in the first place.
Yes.
So if it goes up 30%, we're talking about, instead of it being $1,500, it's now $1,950 or $1,900. So it's a $400, $500 increase, not $3,000 on the whole cost of the project. So is this worth freaking out about? No. Like, save the $400 or $500. Why not? But it's not like the entire project is going up in that cost. And the guy that's installing it isn't charging more as of April 1st. It can if he wants, but but that's not increasing either. So, like, it's not affecting the entire industry of costs unless everything in your project is lumber.
Oh, you're right. So if you're getting
If you're doing a completely wood deck,
wood fence,
or
right?
a garage package, right? Like, lots of people are doing those, not from here, but like a garage package is significantly different now because there's not a whole lot to the garage other than
Lumber,
it's all
a
lumber.
little bit of vinyl siding or something, and some shingles.
Yeah.
So
So does this like cause a
But like a house
uptick in
doesn't?
the house?
A house, like, it's a little bit
yeah.
more money. I think the contractor that was downstairs, Brad, he told me that he thought his house would be $20,000 more to build right now than it was last year.
What's the context? How much was the house?
They were around 300. It was
Okay, so like an
300,000.
8% increase or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're looking at, there's a comment there that says lumber prices were pretty high in 2007, 2008, and yeah, it's a commodity. It goes up and down all the time. However, look at this chart here. He's got a lot more ups than downs.
Can the
lately,
people
it
see
looks
that?
No one can see this yet. No.
Well, you should be able to see it, you guys. It's really good.
This is just this year.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's the soften as we went into the winter there. See that? It softened a bit. And
There's
there you
10
go.
years ago. There's 25 years. Oh, so
Never.
Pretty stable over the last 20 years before this happened, but
1996, it was still high.
Yep.
2004 was a little high there, but still, it's been going up.
Yeah.
What's the spike? Back a little bit.
What's
This one
in
right
2018? Spiked a bit in
March of
April of
18.
2018.
And so what are you doing there? It's per 1,000 board feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
USD per 1,000 board feet.
Yeah, it was $6. So in 2018, it was $600 per 1,000. And for context, right now it is sitting at $973 per 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
New normal.
New normal.
New normal is
yeah.
going to sit around 800, I bet.
It'll
would
be
be
in
my
this
guess.
it'll probably be at the 600 range.
8. I think it'll be 8.
But there's also the natural inflationary price adjustments every year that seem to happen. So it's like you can sit here and wait for the lumber price to soften a little bit at some point. But in that time, if we're talking 2 years, if you're like, we'll wait and build our deck in 2 years from now. Well, in that time, there's a good chance that the composite aluminum goes up 5% per year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And 5% on the composite aluminum twice is going to be more dollars to your project than 30% of lumber would be.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the expensive part of the project. So a smaller increase hurts more there in dollars and cents, not in percentages, right?
Yeah.
So,
like Westrom says, so customers are accepting these increases. We, the retail, seem to be the ones worrying, which I totally agree with him. It's like,
you're going to get a little pushback, but those people are going to push back regardless.
they're not like, so that's the thing. They're not, I don't know if they're even actually pushing back. They're just commenting on it. Same as when it snows in October. They walk in and they're like, "Whoa, snowed." And that's it. It's just a comment. And so for us, more people are purchasing now than ever before.
Right.
In March. And they're talking about it. They're like, "Oh man, these prices are high." Swipe.
Exactly.
yeah.
These prices is really expensive.
But we've also not
Swipe.
been like, because we haven't increased yet, we haven't maybe seen the pushback yet, because we've been putting tons of quotes out there, but okay, you're going to get some quotes. Nobody's going to touch my price.
Oh, the new butt.
But the reality of the situation is right now we're a good price on lumber right now.
Yep.
So. Anyway, it is what it is. It's a conversation that's like it's
in the industry.
It's in the industry. That's what the industry's talking about. Did you also hear? You should Google this too, because I haven't read into this a whole bunch. But this resins plant in Texas.
Westrom knows about this. He was talking about
maybe Mark Westrom from Westrom Lumber here, he's in the chat, can fill us in about a little bit about this too, because it'll affect him more than us probably, because he does buy paint and caulking and OSB and whatever else.
Yep.
So here we go. Texas ice cold shut down resins operations. So I heard
that the roof collapsed.
I heard that the roof collapsed from snow in this place.
Yeah.
So if that's
because
true,
you wouldn't build in Houston for snow loads.
But
yeah, not typically.
I'm not for that.
So this plant, I don't know what the plant's called, but from what I've heard is that this plant employs something like thousands of people. It's a massive operation.
Yeah, wasn't it?
And what they do is they make resins and bonding agents that go into everything.
Yeah.
Paints, caulking,
it was
OSB.
It was Dow Corning plant, I thought.
Potentially composite decking, which is people are wondering, is it going to affect composite decking? Because there's bonding agents in there. And so basically anything that this plant produces is in all these building materials. And they're expecting shortages now because of this, because this plant got shut down. First, because of power issues, the grid issues that Texas was having, and then snowstorm collapsing the roof in. And so that, I don't know what, I've been explained to this, that there's basically like 3 of these companies that make these manufacturers. This one's by far the largest, and it's like the capacity went to 0 because they couldn't operate without a roof.
Yep.
And so
hard to do that.
I know your dad, owning a lumberyard out of town, small town lumberyard, was trying
also
to
had
buy,
no roof for a little bit.
Also had no roof. He was trying to buy paint, caulking, and that stuff, and can't right now. Like,
correct.
I can't get it because they can't make it because the additives that go into it are not being produced.
Yep.
So what's that going to mean? Well,
also the resin they use in OSB. Yep.
Probably the $50 can of paint you had might be $80 pretty soon.
That's right.
Because there won't be much out there, and it's going to be like, well, what can we get for it again?
Yep.
Also, one of the resins they use to make OSB. Yep. And so I don't know if that's part of the reason why OSB's seen recent further increases, or if there's more yet to come.
More to come. Stay tuned.
My guess is that's a pretty recent development. Like the last couple of weeks, there's probably more to come as far as OSB goes. Do you think we're going to see $100 sheets of OSB?
Yeah. No, we don't. I don't think we'll see that. But I like Westrom's description. If it's sticky or plastic,
major delay
comes out of there.
Yeah, caulking, tapes, food grade plastics, etc. What's the comment down a little bit more from Forsman's Finest Decks? Seems like everything is spiking. Maybe the money is becoming less valuable.
Yeah, Justin Bucks.
And now TC Decks. That's why I couldn't find any construction adhesive. Yep. I'll be part of it too, like adhesives, like anything. Like you said, anything that's sticky or plastic is going to be affected by that. So if anybody's looking to start up a business, here resins and bonding agents right now are
sticky things
in high demand.
Yeah, it sounds like 75% of most like plastics were shut down, and like some epichloroidin production was 100% offline.
For how, is it back up or how long?
That was as of February 23rd.
Oh boy, that's a little bit longer than I thought.
Ago.
That was a month ago it's been going on.
But still.
Yikes.
They're saying like the power really and the power went out too in a lot of those places. So
That's the thing. The power going out is probably a bigger issue than the roof caving in.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you can clean up the roof and maybe put something temporary in place and keep going. But if you have no power, like there's how many generators you need to put on site to run that operation? Like that'd be a big operation.
I guess I would have thought that the power outage would have been less of a big deal. Like you just flip a switch and then get it back on at some point. But their power outages were like lines were down, right? Like the infrastructure failed.
their infrastructure.
It was
failed.
it was not like
And Texas has a
it wasn't like a windstorm blew a line off the
weird-
pole. It was like a big thing.
Texas has like a weird power structure in terms of companies that
Well,
own
it's
it.
and it's all completely independent, isn't it? They can't
all
they can't
independent.
borrow power. Like they're all self-sufficient in their power. So when their shit goes down, it's not like they can be like, "Hey, New Mexico, can you?"
They just
buy
got to
some
pay
power?
for it, right? And then everybody else has to pay for it.
Capitalism
It's capitalism.
works really well. It does actually.
Yeah. Mr. Welch 79. Imagine what lumber will do if there's forest fires really bad again this year. God, I hadn't even
Yeah, because forest fires happened last year.
I haven't thought about
Why
that yet.
you got
But
so much negative energy in here?
it's part of it too.
It's absolutely going to happen because it doesn't ever rain here anymore.
In the world, doesn't rain in the world.
It doesn't rain in the world anymore.
Okay.
Now you know. But it seems to have been fairly dry in Canada for the last couple of years, right?
I agree.
So what?
Exactly.
Western Lumber Welch, you're a ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
God, I don't want to think about that. Like that's
Change of plans.
what could happen.
Order
if
some
that
more
happens.
lumber.
And like that's becoming a pretty common occurrence too. Like massive out of control
Yep.
forest fires every year.
It's because we're not like. Is it because we're not allowed to do controlled burns anymore? They've all but eliminated the idea of doing controlled burns, and so now we just have uncontrolled burns, right? There's like a little bit to that. People didn't want guys like running around burning stuff in the forest, and it was like, you can't burn the forest down. And the forestry industry was like, we have to burn some of it,
Yeah, we got to
otherwise,
burn a little.
otherwise we'll lose the whole thing, and then we lose the whole thing.
Oh, there we go.
Finally, I wasn't going to bring it up until somebody else did in the chat.
You were waiting.
So part of the answer to what do we do, and this is like this helps our world, decking world.
Only you can prevent forest fires, Shane.
I don't live
And Smokey the Bear.
I don't live within a day's drive of a forest. I am not a cause, nor am I the solution to forest fires. Steel framing is a solution for decks. Now, like I said before, I don't think people should get scared away on a deck from lumber because it's not a significant portion of the cost of the overall project. But what is really intriguing now is the option of doing steel framing and not using wood at all. Because there was always a good reason to do that.
Yep.
It stays true and flat. Like that's the biggest reason. It's going to last as long as the columns of decking you're putting on it. That's the biggest reason.
Yep.
Our friend Scott Kelly from Precision Construction was recently featured on the Decorators Pro Certified Pro Spotlight. And in that video, he talks about, because they only use steel frame now. And he's like, I'm not even capable of understanding why you would put a product on your deck that's going to last your lifetime and then putting it on a frame that's going to last 15 years. And yeah, that part doesn't make sense a little bit, right?
It's
like
a budget decision.
you wouldn't build a house that way. You wouldn't put on siding on the house and be like, I'm going to put on the siding that's going to last forever and then put it on a frame that's going to crumble within 10 or 15 years. That doesn't make any sense. Like we use wood in house framing because it's protected from the elements. It's not going anywhere. Like it is protected, but outside lumber is not. So you use treated, but it doesn't last forever. It's still exposed.
Yep.
Steel gives you an equal, if not longer lifespan than the stuff you're putting on top. Like that makes sense.
Yep.
And in 25 years, if for some reason the composite has eventually failed or you want to change it up, the frame's still fine. Like it's right. You could reuse it again.
I know you haven't been on the floor a lot, but this year I've had a lot of people that have come in and told me their wood frame is still fine too. My wood frame is fine. It's good. It's only 13 years old.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I kicked it and it still seemed kind of solid. It's a little bit soft.
People.
So, yeah, I think steel framing is a real alternative, I'll say. It's not the solution to this, but it's an alternative, and certainly a better alternative than it has been in the past, because it's all pros.
Yeah.
The only con before was price.
Mm-hmm.
It was 4-5 times more than treated lumber was before. And so that was a big gap for people.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it is the cheapest part of the deck, like the framing is the lowest cost, it was still a big jump. But now with lumber prices going up, steel prices coming down, I shouldn't say steel prices coming down because they're also going up. Mm-hmm. But steel deck framing products have come down in the last couple of years to the point where they're converging on each other, these price points. And now it sounds like it's almost impossible to put like a multiplier between them because it just depends a lot on the size of the deck and the spans of the deck.
Yeah.
But it's certainly getting a lot closer. And so now it's a real conversation. Yep. Lumber is way up. And we've been having also the conversation for years about how the quality of lumber has been decreasing because it's being harvested at a younger age. So it's not as dense. So therefore it doesn't last as long.
Yep.
So that's happening at the same time. Now steel has a legitimate product out there through, Fortress Evolutions. I would say that's the leading one by far. Mm-hmm. Then you do have other guys looking at it like Bailey and like Trex discontinued theirs. So that's gone. But this is a real option now. And it doesn't sound like it's going to cost a whole lot more than lumber.
Nope.
Right?
We need to sell one.
The analogy of the $10,000 deck before and the framing was $1,500 and now the framing is going to be $2,000 if it's wood. And so the steel might be what, $2,500, $3,000? So we're talking like on a $10,000 deck, it goes from 10 to 10.5 or 11.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That sounds like a pretty decent upgrade to me. Mm-hmm. Especially if you were then also going to take your lumber and tape it and spend $200 on tape to hide the tape, to protect the lumber to make it last longer. And you were going to do fascia boards around the outside to hide the lumber. And this stuff's powder coated black, so maybe you don't have to do the fascia either. Like you might be able to find an even point.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you did the Bailey steel, you'd want to put fascia on still.
Yeah, because it's bare steel.
Because it's bright, shiny.
Yeah.
But
whatever happened to those guys who put magnets in the boards?
They could come back.
They could come back.
This could be a real solution for them.
Oh, we were just too ahead of the game.
Too ahead of the game.
I wonder if they still exist. We should look that up.
You should buy into them.
So funny. So funny.
Don't.
You could change your boards every week.
So not to like make this a steel episode again, but
You go to like shovel your deck
it's
off,
legit.
you just grab the end of the board.
Whip it up.
Back down.
Comment, what's he saying?
Fortress Building Products, Canucks.
Is that worth saying out loud? I don't know what he's saying, but let's say
Love to say
FBP
it.
Canuck.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He wants to stay on a chat, but he's heading to training session for a group of contractors that are wanting to move to steel. We'll be interested in how this conversation rolls.
Yeah.
Is that ours?
No.
Nope. We're going to be doing a steel training episode. Like this podcast will get posted after that happens. So that's no help. But
who's on?
For those people that are in the live chat right now from Instagram, we are going to be posting. Has a date been nailed down yet?
No.
We're going to be posting online Zoom training on Fortress Evolution steel framing. We have a bunch of training up there right now. If you go to tuds.ca/train, we have training programs set up on the 29th, 30th, 31st.
It'll probably
for things like Inlight and Trex and like all the brands of decking and stuff. And then we've also added a Fortress Evolution steel framing that'll get posted right away.
Yeah, for sure.
And so if you're interested in learning more about that, we'll get to spend an hour with Jason from Fortress teaching us all about that. So I'm pumped for that one. Mm-hmm. The rest of the ones that we're doing, I feel like I'm really well versed in. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I need to watch the Trex one because I will, but I don't feel like I'm going to learn much in it. Mm-hmm. The Fortress Evolution steel one, I am all ears.
Yeah,
I'll actually pay attention to that one. I won't do emails on the side while I'm like following through. So sign up for that if you haven't. TC Dex, is it too personal of a question to ask you how your margins compare from steel to treated lumber?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a personal. It's not like you're asking.
Too personal.
It's not like you're asking if I've got a growth between my butt crack. It's like,
Sure. I'll show you. It's right here.
That's called a tail, Shane.
do you remember? Mm-hmm. You will remember. You already know where I'm going with this. Have you ever listened to Dave Chappelle?
Yeah.
Bryce, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you remember his old skits that he talks about like personal information about voting?
Politics? No, I don't remember that one.
Do you remember the day when politics used to be something you didn't talk about? When it was like it was offensive to ask somebody how they were going to vote? Can we go back to that?
Yeah, so it used to be, he was talking about how different races view politics. And like, he was saying that typically white people would not talk about who they were going to vote for.
Mm-hmm.
But he said growing up in like Dave Chappelle's black, African-American, and it was in his community, they talked about it. It was like, no big deal. I'm voting for this person. I'm voting for that person. They didn't care. Where he grew up, he said. So anyways, the skit was super funny because it was
skit was somebody asking their dad, like a little kid, like, who are you gonna vote for this year, Dad? And it was like, or maybe a buddy asking a buddy. And the dad's like, or the friend's like, whoa, a little personal, don't you think? Anyways, let me get back to my story about doing my wife. Like, it was like, it got really vulgar. It was like people back then were willing to share the bedroom details, but don't ask me who I'm going to vote for. Jesus, I wish we'd go back to that. I'm sick of seeing that shit all over
Don't
Facebook.
ask me about my margins on steel framing.
Right? Too personal. So anyways, I've got this welt on the side of my... no, so I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that because we're going to price it with similar margins. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be, but I think most products in the building material industry all get margined roughly the same anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody's killing it with margins on anything. Well, I'm assuming that steel will get the same kind of margin treatment that lumber did or wood or whatever.
Yeah. So often when we talk about margins, people get kind of caught up in the idea of margins. With more expensive products, you can usually run a smaller margin because they are more profitable.
Mm-hmm.
And so you make more money on expensive things. And so I would imagine that we would probably have a lower margin on steel than we will on lumber for probably a few reasons. There'll be less like fall down. There'll be no cull, right? You won't have any waste.
Shane's like, steel. Oh my gosh.
Think about that one. Yeah, that'd be really good.
So you can afford to be a little bit slimmer because you don't have as much fall down. Certainly there will be damage. No doubt one of our guys will drive over a pile of it with a forklift, and that will happen. And
but that would happen either way.
Correct. But when you break your steel, it's going to be way more expensive to replace than if you drive over a bunch of wood. So anyways, hopefully the guys will treat it a little bit better so you can margin it a little bit lower. And also it's more expensive. So when you sell it, it'll be more profitable. So you'll still kind of pull the same amount of money out of it, even if you have, 10% less margin on it than you would on lumber. So
it's more weatherproof too.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. So my guess would be that we'll likely margin it slightly less than wood, but it'll still be more profitable than wood. So,
yep.
So I think Westrom, you got anything to add to that?
He's still worrying about how he's going to get paint.
Sticky things.
Anything else to add, Bryce? Like, this conversation has been going for a while, and I
don't think so.
If anybody else has any other questions for the live chat, feel free to fire them in there right now because I don't know that we have much more to say on this topic. But I think I think we're gonna we're obviously about to see a shift in our messaging. We've been talking a lot. People have been letting me know that we're talking a lot about it. Like, oh, what's next? What are you going to tell me? Lumber prices going up again? Like.
Yeah.
I know I've said it a lot, but you're here buying it. So did you want to know or did you not want to know?
Exactly. I could just do it, not tell you.
I could just stay quiet and sell it to you in April for 30% more if you'd like.
Yeah, we should have done that.
Like that from our own personal standpoint would have been a better thing for us to do.
Trucks for everyone.
But so that question came out of nowhere. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about today.
But it was just in the top line chat. It just came down like all the other comments do. So
that's what happens.
Wasn't right out of nowhere. It was exactly where I thought that.
Well, I know
right out of left field.
I know the technicalities of where it came from, Wade. Infinity Co. asks, what's the tightest radius you have bent Trex? So if he's talking about Trex specifically, then we have done a 4-foot that worked out pretty well, but it was only in a test environment. We never actually installed it, but we got it down to a 4-foot radius pretty good.
There was only a little bit of wrinkling on the inside of it.
I think from people that have done a lot of installs with it, they have said that 7 to 8 feet is about as tight as they go with Trex. And I know that when we hit that 4 feet, we sent that to Jason Russell and we're like, we did it. And he's like, that's crazy. I've never seen that.
Crazy.
Like he was like, that's really impressive. I don't feel like you'd be able to pull that off super cleanly many times to go that tight with Trex. Now, if we're talking PVC, then
here comes a quick humble brag.
Nope, I wasn't even going to mention that one. But
Let's hear it.
I'm just saying you can get pretty tight with that stuff.
Tell the people.
No, I don't want to.
There's 12 of them. They're
How
dying
tight?
to know.
How tight?
Well, okay, you twisted my arm. I'll tell you. It's game time. Let's go. somebody, who was it? Lux Outdoor something, tagged us in a post today that they bent a PVC board. It wasn't a full circle, but a horseshoe shape down to a 6.5 inch radius.
Looked like a skateboard.
Yeah, that's an impressive bend right there.
Yep.
So that is about as tight as I've seen it go. We've done the full circle, which is infinitely harder, by the way, Lux. Infinitely harder.
We don't do half sixagons here.
But really, with enough effort and motivation, PVC, you can just about do whatever you want with. Like, if you're willing to burn a few boards and try it, like, we did the 11-inch circle, and we burnt some boards getting there, but we got it.
We wrecked 4, right?
4 or 5. Like, we were cutting in
we
half.
Were 4
so
20
foot
footers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it took 8 10-foot boards to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, Trex specific, like any composite, I would say you probably shouldn't get, I wouldn't quote a job that promised any more than about 7 or 8 feet
In
height of a
Trex.
radius in Trex or Fibron or TimberTech or whatever.
Composite.
In PVC, I think like 4 feet's
Super
I'm not
easy.
gonna say
It's achievable.
easy, but it's for sure workable. We've had real easy success with brands like Clubhouse at 4 feet. Struggle a little bit more with a brand like Wolf, but got it. Just took a little bit more effort. So it depends. So
AZAC is really good for bending.
but your need to go that tight on a deck is next to nothing. Like, what are you doing on the deck that needs a radius that tight? Like, we were doing some fancy inlay shit, but you're not going to do that all the time. But like, I don't even know what the Lux guys were doing with that board. I don't know what that, like,
I don't know.
Making a horseshoe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just it.
Are you going to answer that question? What TC did? What TC Dex asked you?
Who would you guys have voted for the U.S. president in 2020? No, I'm going to abstain.
Isn't it Obstain?
I don't know. He already knows who I would have voted for.
Yeah.
There's no
I think that
confusion.
I think your options were really shitty that last election. You had
There's only
like,
2 people.
Yeah, but I mean, you had Crazy Trump and Sleepy Joe. Like,
Mhm.
pick your choice. I think you were up Schitt's Creek no matter which way you went on that one. Who do I think would run the country better economically? I think Donald Trump would run the country better economically, but he's pretty crass, brazen, and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
But that's your job.
too.
Is like you're hiring the CEO of your country.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. So
Because up here we've got Trudeau, and like, I think my 17-year-old dog could probably run a better economic fiscal policy than he has.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kanye 2020.
did you see that he's going to release a budget this year? Our guy?
2 years it's been since we've seen a budget.
That's right.
That's what we're doing up here. Spending trillions and not telling anybody what we're spending it on.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good, right?
How is this guy even in?
Capitalism.
Nope. That's socialism.
He's in because the conservatives have had
Zero leadership.
they
They have no good leaders.
they can't stop stubbing their toe.
They're
Like,
bad at capitalism.
they've got a gimme election and they can't do anything with it.
Can't get a guy in there that people like. They can't get
Jesus,
somebody that you
like-
would vote for.
Just pay for a marketer.
Do something.
That's all you got to do.
You should run.
Anyway.
You should run.
Shane should
You
run.
know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I will, you guys.
The last leader of the Conservative Party was from Saskatchewan.
Yeah, he was.
China.
And he was too wishy-washy.
Not you.
Not me.
I bet you would be.
Here's my, you know what? I absolutely would be.
Somebody's going to go up there and you'd be like, where's your stance on abortion? And you'd be like, wishy-washy.
You should see how tight the radius was.
Let's talk about deck boards.
Anyway, enough political talk. So there we have it. Do we have any more comments to follow up on? I voted for Tuds, Cascade Fence and Deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yes!
We forgot about that.
TC Decks, I know. Are we doing beers in the deck Zoom call this Friday?
Are we?
Can we?
We can.
Then we shall. I
thought you had
forgot the
something
last
going on.
podcast we said we were going to do it last week, I think. And somebody messaged us and was like, I missed it. And Wade replied and was like, I think it was you that replied. It was like, yeah, it didn't happen. We forgot to put that on. So
That was supposed to be this week anyway.
was it supposed to be this week?
Yeah, we
Did
gave
say it was like-
ourselves a week.
Oh, I
Okay.
see. So this week, Friday we're doing 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
So Friday at 5 o'clock Central,
Yep.
we're going to do our first Zoom beers on, what were we calling it?
We didn't
Happy
have
hour.
a name.
Beers on the deck happy hour.
We should
so
come
we'll do
up
that this
with
week.
the name on Friday.
Good idea.
Sure.
In
So
the
let's
very
get that.
first
Let's
one.
get that set up.
Vote for it.
Why don't we get that set up and put it on the training page?
Okay.
At the bottom of the training page. So people can sign up for it at tuds.ca/train. We'll put it as the bottom one, and that's how you'll get the Zoom link.
I'm writing it down now.
Okay? And we'll promote that too. That'll be fun. Okay, anything left? Boys, did you fix the outro?
Yes.
Okay. Now Simon comes in right now. Perfect view. He'll have some things to say. Too late. What you got? Anything?
No, that was
Good.
Just I was just burping.
You look like you're eager to start something there, but it's just a belch. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for having this discussion. We're done talking lumber for a little bit because it's going to get expensive. Quiet about it for a bit now. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.